to OutForTheCountTV. We're in Sheffield for Fightozone's Steel City Showdown. Dennis, how you feeling, mate?
I mean, it's all good. It's another day at the office, but to be honest, I was just saying today that I've got a new lease of life. Steve Crump's been involved with me for a few years now, and he's hooked, thankfully. But we've already made some great memories, and then thankfully now I've got another partner with us from the Cayman Isles, who I've met through a dear school friend of mine, Gary, Barry Bodin, who's like supporting what we're doing, believes in our journey. So it's like a new chapter. We're doing shows abroad. We're working with, like you've seen, the great Roy Jones Jr. So we've got some great plans, and one of the plans and one of the stories that we want to create is in the Cayman. There's some talented kids, but they haven't got a pathway up the rankings, and we're going to provide that. And with the support of Barry and Mike Lawrenson, we've got some great chapters to write. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Obviously, boxing shows around the world, you know, the fans they react in a different way. What's the reaction to boxing across in the Cayman Islands?
Barry?
Well, after a bit of a hiatus, I think, with the boxing, we finally got it back on track post-COVID in December, and it's been well received by the fans. So we're really excited about where we're at and where we're heading, especially in working with Dennis here and Steve, and we're just very excited about that partnership and look forward to what we can do in the future.
Brilliant. And is there any fighters at the minute that springs to mind from the Cayman Islands that people need to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, we've got some very talented amateurs. Hard to put names there. There's quite a few, but we're working to bring a few of them over to expand their training over here in the UK. Hopefully that will happen sooner than later.
Brilliant. Well, we are looking forward to that one. And obviously, Steve, when did the connection to Dennis come about?
Believe it or not, he's got the same accountant as me, and we just kind of gelled probably 5 or 6 years ago, and he's got me up from then. And then obviously we formed Fightzone between ourselves, and it's just a passion really, and we're just taking a journey to see how far we can actually go here. We're very fortunate to be in a position where we can both do this, and I think pushing Fightzone and giving fighters that won't really get a chance on any kind of platform, we're giving them that opportunity, and we're pushing boundaries all the time, and we're going to different places. We've done the Cayman, we're going to Thailand, we go all over the world with it. We've got fighters spreading out everywhere, so we're going to launch our arena tomorrow night, and hopefully that's going to be the home for Fightzone for quite a while, and we're just open to push boundaries all the time and reinvent boxing, but give people a chance that ain't going to get a chance anywhere else with big platforms. And we're going to be one of the key players in boxing going forward. We've got Dennis's expertise in that, and we'll just see where we go, but watch this space.
And you say about pushing boundaries, you've just announced a deal with TalkSport that's going to bring so many eyes to this event. How excited are you all, for that extra boost to your cards?
I think it's our model is, James, it's about building the numbers now, and in a way you can look at us like a miniature ITV. We're a commercial entity, but on this commercial entity we're giving kids a platform. We're in charge of our own destiny. You've got businessmen all coming together with one love, and that's the sport of boxing, and we've proved it time and time again, and we are blowing smoke. And I've been in the game 30 years over, and I've produced world champions, and one or two of them unfashionable, and you can say I could have probably been the Brian Clough of boxing, but we're doing it. We've done it before. We've got a blueprint, and we'll do it again. And one or two of the things what excite me, have been involved with my pal Gary there and Barry here, is they're in the Cayman, and we've got Michael's an absolute boxing nut as well, who's over there still. I want the buzz of creating a champion from somebody who's where it's never happened before in the Cayman Islands. We've never had a Commonwealth champion, for example. That will happen, I promise you. While everywhere we're all involved together, that will happen. I've got a blueprint, and we'll make it happen with the team I've got. It's the best team I've ever had with me and around me, so I'm buzzing about that. And like you said, the TalkSport deal, we'll be getting numbers on top of numbers. We're going to end up like getting 2, 3, 4, 5 million people, viewers, watching our spectacles. Tomorrow night is obviously we've got some big names here who's bringing fighters on the undercard like Roy Jones. You've got Dave Allen and you've got Curtis Woodhouse is bringing an heavyweight, and we've got all the local kids. The top of the bill, Keenan against Lewis, is an absolute cracker, I promise you, for the Commonwealth silver title. And these are the sort of fights that we want to create. And the one thing I've said to them both, a loss working with us isn't the end of your career. It's just a learner. The L is a learner, it's not a loss, and that's what we've proved time and time again. We brought people like Tommy Franks through, and we've got the best out of his career for him. So we'll continue to do that, but we want to be back at the top table. We want to be putting shows on, not just in the Cayman, not just in the UK. We want to be in Vegas. We're doing a show in Thailand in December. So we, like Steve said, we're breaking down barriers, and one of my dad's old sayings: "No man is an island." Even though the Cayman Isles is an island, no man is an island. And I don't want to do this on my own, even if I could. I love the buzz and sharing the memories, and that's what we're going to do.
And you mentioned, you've been in the game for probably as long as I've been alive. Not trying to make you feel old. What motivates you to keep going, at this stage in your career as a promoter?
Well, being a Sheffield Wednesday fan, James, I'm addicted to winning. And don't laugh. It's not it. Don't mock the afflicted. Well, you're in the same boat. But Chris Wilder's a dear pal of mine, and we're all in the same boat. But no, it's the buzz of winning, and sometimes winning when you're not supposed to, when you're not fashionable. We're not getting kids from the Olympics, and they're already more or less guaranteed. They've had the government funding to get them up there up to a level. We're taking kids who's been in a job when he came from school, but just got a talent, but never had the chance to fulfil the dream. And we're giving them that chance, giving them a platform, working with people like Roy Jones. You've got John Fuchs, who's doing a fantastic job at our gym. And I promise you, however we stick together, we will produce champion after champion.
I have no doubt. And obviously the card tomorrow, just talk us through the card and how excited you are for it.
I think the top of the bill carries it. They've got some good learning fights on there, and like I say, we've got the two kids what will stand out, well, three actually, because obviously you've got the Roy Jones kid who's come all the way from New York, who's now based in Pensacola, Florida. So he's going fast track towards a world title. Roy really believes in him, so this will be my first time looking at him, and I'll have my own ideas on him. But if Roy believes in him, and we've got some other plans what we're going to do with Roy Jones, and that's where I'm going to sit down with Barry and Steve and talk about some of the plans what we're going to do with Roy Jones. So having such an icon within your team and making plans is a special time. So for him to have a kid on our event, it shows that we've got purpose, and we mean what where we're going to. So the undercard is one or two good learning fights. Like I said, you've got Adrian King, who's the heavyweight, and you've got Dave Allen, who's a big name who wants another big fight. He was looking at the Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark fight the other night, and for me, he should have been in with Fabio because Fraser should have been disqualified against Dave. So we've got some great kids coming through, so it'll be a conveyor belt from Sheffield now. Now we've got this new venue, it'll just go on, and then we can take kids over to the Cayman, to Thailand and Malta, and they'll get that experience, which a few years ago I didn't have those sort of things at my fingertips for the kids. So we've got that, and we've got a special entity here, and we've got successful, we're a bit unique because we've got successful business people behind a sport that we love. That's a bit unique in boxing.
100%. And I just want to touch on one of the fighters on the card, Brendan Needham. He's obviously made the crossover from K1 to boxing. How do you feel about how he's improved since his pro debut, and how highly do you rate him?
I think, to be fair, Brendan's done a great job, and his dad have as well to get him prepared. Obviously, he's got some ring craft we're doing bare knuckle, but he's starting to polish himself up now, and I think he will get some titles under his belt. Not saying what they'll be, but he will get some meaningful titles under his belt, will Brendan. And he's a great kid, and he's really applying himself to it now. So, watch your space with Brendan.
Definitely. I've known Brendan for a number of years, and I know what Brendan's capable of, so I can't wait to see it all unfold.
I think, James, this will probably be the first time Barry's seen him, I don't know if it is, but Brendan is very understated for such a talented kid. Like you said, he's done the K1, he's done the bare knuckle, and obviously he's got plenty under there, but he's not just got plenty under his shirt, he's got plenty of ability, and and he's my pal's son, Dave Needham, who's joined our ranks as regards helping event manage and stuff like that. So Dave's needs a special mention because he's been brilliant at helping put this all together. But Brendan's a talent, and he's under the radar, and we prefer it like this. Let me just give you an example. You've got Campbell Hatton, who's got all the big boo-ha about being Ricky Hatton's son. That put unwanted pressure for me on him. I was going to sign Campbell, and I wanted him to go as much as he could under the radar because he didn't have a lot of experience amateur-wise, but he's been thrown in under the lights, and so he got slagged when he said he's going through Sainsbury's, and some people's been skitting at him. You're not as good as your dad. You don't want that pressure for the kid. So if they'd have done it my way, for example, as Frank Sinatra would say, we'd have done it under the radar and brought him on in learning fights. But every fight he's been in, it's been almost a big fight, even though sometimes he's fought journeymen. So he should have done it under the radar. We're doing it under the radar with Brendan. That took a long way around houses just to say that, didn't it?
You couldn't have answered it more perfectly. I think when fighters are starting out, I think it's important to guide them properly. You know, all too many times you see top prospects get forced into fights that they probably shouldn't take too soon.
Arena shows.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with what we're doing with Barry, with the Cayman and Mike over there, is that we're not going to push these kids because they're on a small island. There's some talent there. I saw it in December, but we're not going to push them too quick because you've got kids here who's amateurs, who's had a lot more experience because we've got a massive pool in this country of fighters. So we'll do it at a pace that's sensible, but if they stick at it and they've got the appetite for it, I promise you, I've looked at a couple of kids, we'll win 1 or 2 titles with a couple of them kids.
No doubt. And you know, on the landscape of boxing in general, we've obviously had the emergency of Saudi, and you know, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren have sort of like gone across there and took the business there. Do you see that as an opening in the market for you to capitalise on the domestic scene?
I think so, but I wanted to do something a little bit different, James, and Steve's a same sort of mindset. And since I met Barry through Gary, like we hit it off straight away anyway. And it just happened to, like, we got together and said, do we fancy having a pop with a boxing? And he's a Sheffield United fan, even though he lives in the Cayman. That's not his fault. But he's a boxing fan, and Mike over there, who's doing a fantastic job with the amateurs. I know we can add to that, but to do that, we need support from business people. And we're all in business, so we've, like I say, it's a bit unique. We've got business people coming together who's got a bit of experience as well in the sport, who can give a platform to some of these kids where, unless they're an Olympian, they're just going to be put on the shelf and waiting for an opportunity, and sometimes it comes not at the right time and as an opponent. We don't do that. And like I said, tomorrow night when Keenan fights Lewis, whoever loses, that won't be the end of them for us, because they're both talented kids. So they'll come again if they want to stick with us, and that's our philosophy of boxing, I suppose.
I think as well, James, to be fair, in business you don't worry about your competitors, you worry about yourself, and you make sure your own house is in order. And because I think all three of us, all four of us are businessmen, as long as we keep our house in order and watch what we're doing, let them worry about us. You know, if they want to go off and chase the dreams over there, fair enough. I mean, you know, we've been in talks of doing shows over there as well, and whether that comes off or not is a different thing. But as long as we keep our house in order, put good quality shows on, and give lads a chance, and as long as we get the public behind us watching and subscribing to Fightzone, that, you know, we need to push that. As long as we get that, then we're fine. You know, we're only worried about ourselves, not anybody else.
Yeah, and that's probably the best outlook. You know, it's clear that you're making big moves, and I look forward to see it all unfold. So yeah, so hopefully catch you all after the fights tomorrow.
James, we're hoping that you're going to be on board with us on a long term. So
definitely.
Yeah, but you're on YTS. That's £20.50 a week. Is that all right, James?
It'll be all right for a week.
Don't tell anybody what I've offered you, will you?
We'll all get jealous. 1 trip a year to the Cayman.
Oh, nice one. I'll take that one.